Yeah, just a quick review of the book, The Supple Senior. Unlock your body with somatic movements, yin yoga stretches, and self-massage techniques. Basically, the book's divided up into 8 chapters. I'll name each one briefly just to let you know what's in the book. First one is Nurture Your Neck. Second one is Soften Your Shoulders. Third one is Loosen Your Lower Back. 4 is Your Healthy Hips. Chapter 5 is Your Happy Hamstrings. You gotta love these titles, they're great. 6 is Know Your Knees. 7 is Free Your Feet. 8 is Help Your Wrists and Hands. So as you can see, each chapter is like a major area of the body that you're going to loosen. Now within each chapter, each chapter is kind of set up the same. They have around 4 different sections. So for instance, Nurture Your Neck, there's a section like this, the structure and function of your neck. And then there will be another section, the aging neck. Then there'll be a yin yoga section and a self-massage section. And then when you move on to like soften your shoulders, it'll be the structure and function of your shoulders. Another section, the aging shoulders, and then yin yoga, self-massage, so on. So each chapter is kind of set up similarly, each talking about that specific area of the body. So yeah, glad to see there's a lot of books coming out now for seniors. Flexibility is definitely a major issue as you get older. We just aren't doing as much as we normally do. We're doing the kind of things we used to do. So, as you get older, you naturally get a little tighter and, you just need to, if you loosen up and you stretch, if you keep stretching, you will loosen because basically your body is moving or to lose it. So this book will give you some tools you can use. Other good books for seniors I know of, the 6-minute torn rotator cuff solution for seniors. If you have trouble with your shoulders, if you're having shoulder pain, I urge you to definitely strengthen your rotator cuff, which this book will do. Your shoulder is a shallow ball and socket joint held together mainly by your rotator cuff muscles. So if you strengthen them, you'll find a lot of shoulder pain, a lot of shoulder issues are going to go away. So even shoulder arthritis, it'll help that. You get more stability. It helps a lot of different conditions. Anyway, if you specifically have a tear, which as you get older, a lot of people after 50, the rate really goes up, and then as 60s, 70s, it goes up even a lot more. So big problem in the elderly. Just like flexibility, kind of getting less flexible as you get older, your rotator cuff suffers a lot too as you get older. Briefly, first part just talks about like anatomy and stuff. Part 2, answers you need to know. What are the symptoms of a rotator cuff tear? In case you're wondering, hey, do I really have a rotator cuff tear? Any arm maneuvers you can do to tell you if you have a tear? Where exactly does it tear at? Talks about, are there different kinds of rotator cuff tears? I have a rotator cuff tear and I'm in a lot of pain. I need surgery, right? Well, not necessarily, because as this book points out, it's very evidence-based, based on just studies. And each one of these squares is like a study it goes over in layman's terms. Basically, it's saying there's no correlation between the size of your tear and how much pain you're in. I know that's counterintuitive, but basically these studies, when they take people and they x-ray or they do MRIs of shoulders, you can find people with large rotator cuff tears that have no pain and people that have small tears are in a lot of pain. So pain doesn't really correlate that well with how bad your tear is. What will happen if I just leave it alone? Well, to do that, you have to look at the studies where they follow people with rotator cuff tears over time that don't really get much treatment. And then you see, what happens 5-10 years with these untreated tears. Do they get bigger? Do they stay the same? Do they get worse? Do they get better? Do they repair themselves? So these studies will answer that question, breaks it down in different types of tears. How does exercise compare to surgery if you have a torn rotator cuff? Well, the only way you're going to know that, the book says, is looking at the randomized controlled trials, which they've gone through all the randomized controlled trials comparing exercise to surgery. So that'd be where you take 100 people and half are randomly assigned to surgery, other half are randomly assigned to exercise. And so after 6 weeks, 6 months, a year, who's doing better? Who's doing better over the long run? Short answer, come to find out, the same. Whether you have surgery or whether you do a good exercise program, you're ended up at the same place. That's according to multiple randomized controlled trials. Literature is real consistent with that, and it'll tell you about that. To that end, the book ends with an exercise program. Basically, it's in 3 different levels, beginning, intermediate, and advanced. So whatever level you're at, if you have an acute tear, you just suddenly tore it and you can hardly move your arm, real simple exercises. But if you've torn it and you can still move your arm around pretty well, but just kind of a nagging thing, you can jump right into the intermediate or advanced program. And the program really does take you 6 minutes or less a day, so a really good resource. So yeah, like I say, great resources for seniors, real common problems, rotator cuff tears, not being as flexible as you get older. So yeah, if you're looking for a resource, on increasing your flexibility, check it out.